A major expansion today in vaccine eligibility, how the state plans to manage as the supply still struggles to meet the demand of those currently eligible. Some are saying expanding eligibility may make it harder to get your COVID shots. We have an in-depth look at the study breaking down complications in the vaccine rollout. And they help San Diegans through some of the worst days, ready to respond at any moment, not as a job, but as a service. Today, we introduce you to the team of volunteers who are here to help others in a way that's positively San Diego.
ABC 10 News at 4 starts now.
Governor Newsom announcing a major expansion in vaccine eligibility. Anyone 50 years old and older will now be eligible April 1st. Anyone 16 and up will be eligible April 15th. Good afternoon, I'm Kimberly Hunt. ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer De La Cruz explains how the state plans to manage the increase in demand while the doses are still in short supply.
Governor Gavin Newsom sending a strong message of hope at a press conference Thursday.
There's not just light at the end of the tunnel, there's bright light.
The state now planning to drop vaccine eligibility tiers, opening up doses to all adults in California in just 3 weeks.
So in just a few weeks, there'll be no rules, no limitations as it relates to the ability to get a vaccine administered.
By April 1st, eligibility will open to anyone 50 and older. By the 15th, that expands to 16 and up. But the promise of eligibility comes as the entire country continues to battle issues with supply. Vaccination centers in Del Mar and Petco Park have been shut down several times, canceling appointments because they ran out of doses. On Thursday, vaccine appointments at CVS pharmacies throughout the state were mostly fully booked. Newsom says meeting his new goal comes with a caveat.
This comes with the expectation of more manufactured supply. This comes with the expectation we'll be going from about 1.8 million doses a week to about 2.5 million doses in a number of weeks.
Supervisor Nathan Fletcher says the county is expecting more doses soon, but that still won't be enough.
Next week, we're projected to get about 15% more than we got this week. So it's going in the right direction, but it's not enough to meet the need. This isn't a reason to be discouraged. It's just a reflection of reality.
1.5 million doses have already been administered in San Diego County so far. Jennifer De La Cruz, ABC 10 News.
We have a detailed list breaking down who is currently eligible, including more information on these new eligibilities on our website, 10news.com. And just more than 9 weeks into his presidency, Joe Biden faced the press in his first news conference today. During the conference, Biden announced a new goal of 200 million vaccines administered by his 100th day. He also addressed the growing influx of migrants, many of them unaccompanied children, at our border with Mexico. The crisis now overwhelming detention centers.
What we're doing now is attempting to rebuild the system that can accommodate what is happening today.
Biden was also pressed on how he will work with a divided Congress to deliver the gun control reform he's promised. This is in the wake of 18 people killed in 2 mass shootings in Georgia and Colorado. The University of Southern California will have to pay $852 million in a massive settlement over a former school gynecologist accused of sexual abuse. Attorneys representing hundreds of women claim that George Tyndall sexually abused their clients while working at the school's health clinic. He worked there for nearly 30 years. Tyndall has been charged with 35 counts of sexual abuse. He pleaded not guilty. If convicted, Tyndall could face up to 64 years in prison. New developments: a 13-year-old girl is now being charged with several felonies over a deadly crash in Escondido. The crash was caught on surveillance camera. Police say the girl and a friend took her mother's car for a joyride. When police tried to pull them over, the girl tried to get away. There were 2 homeless men sleeping in the bushes, and that's right where the car crashed. Both men were killed. Today, police arrested the girl and charged several crimes, including vehicular manslaughter. Because of her age, police are not releasing her name. A third person has been arrested in the murder of a 17-year-old boy gunned down 2 weeks ago at Chula Vista Park. Today, 22-year-old Deontay Martinez surrendered himself to police. Officers believe he shot the victim at Sunset View Park. Larry Bradford was one of the other teenagers also arrested earlier this week for the role in the shooting. Investigators believe the victim and suspects all knew each other. They say the young men got into a fight, which escalated into the shooting. Back on January 29th, Max Linnale drowned while trying to cross the river at Mission Trails Regional Park. And as ABC 10 News reporter Steve Smith tells us, the family aims to make something beautiful after the terrible tragedy.
21-year-old Max Linnale was an avid hiker as well as outdoorsman, but he lost his life after making the tough decision as to whether to cross the flooded San Diego River. It was a decision his dad says no hiker should have to make.
The fact of the matter is that Max found himself in a sort of death trap. Obviously he was very unlucky with the circumstances he was dealt with.
Over the last decade, there had been talks about building a bridge over the river in that location, but nothing ever materialized.
You get there and there's terribly slippery stones. The water level had gone down dramatically when I got there, but I was still too scared to cross on my own.
There's been many complaints about it from the hiking clubs and the mountain biking clubs, but the funds were allocated to other things.
The family, along with San Diego Foundation, has launched a fund with the goal of raising $2 million to build a pedestrian bridge commemorating their son.
We want to raise enough money to build a bridge that is elegant and functional, and will also be erected promptly, or at least within 2 years.
It's a bridge that will be environmentally friendly and a structure Max would have been proud of.
He was someone who, when he saw something that needed help, he jumped in with all of his energy and all of his resources to make it happen. So we are doing this in honor of Max.
I'm Steve Smith, ABC 10 News.
The goal is to have the bridge completed by Max's birthday in March of 2024. We have put information on the fundraising project on our website, 10news.com. And rain showing up in parts of the county. Angelica Campos tracking all of it and joining us now with the forecast. Hi, Angelica.
Hi, Kim. Not only rain, but also winds. The wind started since early this morning. We've seen winds between almost 40 to almost 70 miles per hour. So definitely a wide range. Right now, you can see some of the windiest places highlighting Harrison Park and also Boulevard West, where the winds are now averaging at 45 miles per hour. Our wind advisory will be in effect until 10 p.m. tonight, including our mountains and deserts. So gusty winds will continue. So let's see what's happening now. You see a few of those showers moving into the county, everything relatively light, which is exactly how we expected it to be. As we just kind of pause this in the current conditions, you can see in the North County, just starting to see a little bit of that rain moving into Encinitas, near Solana Beach, Del Mar. And then as we make our way down towards San Diego, it is still pretty dry, Hillcrest area, but just south of San Diego, we have a few showers moving through National City. We'll continue seeing more of that tonight into tomorrow, and even the chance for a little bit of snow. We'll have much more in your 7-day forecast.
Babies born to mothers who have been vaccinated will have some immunity toward COVID-19. That's according to research just published in the American Journal of Obstetrics and Gynecology. In a study of 130 women, scientists found antibodies from both the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines were passed on. That's encouraging news for pregnant and breastfeeding women who were left out of the initial vaccine trials. And some more good news. The hardest hit and highest risk communities for COVID-19 are getting more money to expand access to vaccines. The funds are coming in part from the American Rescue Plan. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services is giving $6 billion to community health centers nationwide. It'll be split among 1,400 centers starting in April. An additional $332 million is going to community health workers to support COVID-19 control and additional training. $3 billion will be split among states and cities to support local efforts to increase vaccine confidence and equity. Part of those efforts and money will reach people at a much higher risk of dying from COVID. Vaccinations are coming to dialysis centers where patients typically have appointments several times a week.
About 40% of those people actually have diabetes as well, which increases their risk on top of the kidney disease.
People with kidney diseases are considered higher risk and a higher tier of vaccine eligibility. But everyone knows that being eligible and actually getting registered and securing an appointment for a shot are very different issues. Delivering directly to dialysis centers is a great option for medical and equity reasons. Kidney disease disproportionately affects racial and ethnic minorities. 34% of patients on dialysis are Black, 19% are Hispanic. The shots will be available for staff at dialysis centers as well. The chief medical officer of the American Diabetes Association has been fully vaccinated, and he encourages staff and patients to do the same.
I was excited. It was great. Any side effects are minimal compared to contracting COVID and the more than 500,000 deaths that it has caused in our country alone.
And there are about 500,000 people in the U.S. currently receiving regular dialysis treatment.
The suspect in the Colorado grocery store shooting made his first court appearance this morning. 21-year-old Ahmad Al-Aliwi Lissa is facing 10 counts of murder for the deadly attack at King Soopers supermarket on Monday. A judge ruled that Alissa will stand in jail without bond. The judge hasn't set the next hearing yet, but says that it will be 2 to 3 months. Investigators are still processing the crime scene, and Alissa's attorneys say they need to assess his mental health.